I swear to God, I never meant to dig up family secrets that day. All I wanted was a clean start. Something simple. Something peaceful. It was a Saturday, the kind where you stay in sweatpants all day half-heartedly sipping cold coffee and pretending you've got life figured out. I didn't. Not even close. My life felt like a cluttered mess I couldn't escape from. Failed engagement, a job I hated, friends who drifted away. Oh, sorry. Let me back up. I'm Sophie Caldwell, 32 years old, from a small town outside Madison, Wisconsin. The kind of place where everybody knows your dog's name but forgets yours. My grandmother, Ruth, passed away 6 months ago. She raised me after my mom left when I was little, so losing her felt like losing the last real piece of family I had left. I'd been putting off cleaning out her house. Too busy, too tired, too emotionally wrecked. But that Saturday the guilt finally won. I pulled up to her old place, unlocked the door, and was hit with that familiar smell. Old books, lavender soap, and something warm and dusty like forgotten time. "Let's do this," I muttered to no one, grabbing a garbage bag and heading straight for the storage room. The storage room in Grandma's house was legendary. She kept everything. Old wrapping paper, broken radios, even the Christmas ornaments that stopped working in 1997. Boxes upon boxes, stacked and labeled in her neat handwriting. Summer clothes, tax receipts 1984 to 1991, Sophie's school things. Felt like digging through time. I tossed out old magazines, folded blankets for Goodwill, smiled at my third-grade science project. Why she kept that crumbling volcano I'll never know. It was weirdly comforting. Like she was still there, watching me work, shaking her head at my messy hair and untied sneakers. But then, I saw the box. It was small. Wooden. Dark like walnut. Not dusty like the others, as if it had been touched recently. And it was shoved way behind the photo albums and yearbooks, like she wanted to make sure no one would casually stumble across it. No label. No key. My stomach tightened. For a second I thought, maybe this is private. Maybe I should leave it alone. But when you've lost everyone, curiosity feels like a drug. And honestly, what was left to be scared of? I dragged it out. It was heavier than it looked. Shook it gently, no sound. Locked tight. The small brass clasp refused to budge. I found a screwdriver in the kitchen, sat cross-legged on the carpet like a kid opening a treasure chest, and carefully pried the latch loose. When the lid finally creaked open, I stopped breathing. Gish. Neat stacks of bills, bound in faded paper bands. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. No notes, no explanation. And under the money, a small black leather notebook. Old. Worn. The kind you see detectives carry in movies. I felt this chill crawl up my spine. Like the air shifted. I flipped it open. And that's when my hands started to shake. The first page was a list. Names, all written in Grandma Ruth's perfect cursive. Names I recognized. That. Uncle Jason. Old Mrs. Doyle from next door. Even Mr. Parker, my 7th grade math teacher who'd retired early, after some quiet scandal no one would talk about. Next to each name, numbers. Big ones. $3,000. $8,500. Some marked paid in full. Some marked owes. What was this? I turned the page. More names. More notes. And then I froze when I saw his name. Kyle Barnes. My ex-fiancé. And next to his name? $15,000. Blackmail. March 2018. I stared at the page like it was written in fire. My heart pounded so hard it made my ears ring. Kyle. My Kyle. The man who broke my heart without warning. Called off our wedding 2 months before the date. Said it wasn't me, it was his issues. Vanished from my life like a ghost. Grandma Ruth had never even met him. Or so I thought. What the hell had he done to end up in this secret book? What did she mean by blackmail? My mind spun. I remembered how Grandma used to smile kindly at him. Or the way she once casually asked about his job when she didn't usually care about such things. And then I remembered something else. The small smirk she gave me after the breakup. When she simply said, "It's for the best, Sophie. Trust me." I hadn't understood that look back then. But I did now. The box sat there on the floor, glowing like a lit fuse, and I knew, this wasn't just some forgotten family junk. This was something that could change everything. I wasn't just decluttering my grandmother's house. I was ripping open a secret life she'd hidden from all of us. And now that I'd found it, there was no going back. I sat there on the scratchy carpet staring at that little black notebook like it might explode. I couldn't move. Couldn't even blink. My brain kept whispering, this can't be real. It has to be something else. Something normal. Something innocent. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. I flipped back to the first page again, forcing myself to read each name carefully this time. My dad's name stood out first, Alan Caldwell, $12,000 paid in full. What the hell did he owe Grandma money for? Or did she loan it to him? But why secretly? Then there was Uncle Jason, $6,000, gambling debt, warned. My stomach twisted. So the rumors were true. Everyone in the family always whispered about Jason's bad luck. But here it was written down in black and white. Mrs. Doyle from next door. Mr. Parker, my old math teacher. There was even a scribbled note next to his name. Dismissal arranged, hush money, $9,500. My jaw dropped. I remembered how suddenly he left, how nobody ever explained why. Page after page. Like peeling layers off an onion. Each name pulling me deeper into something I never wanted to know. But then I saw Kyle's name again. Right there. Clear as day. Kyle Barnes, $15,000. Blackmail. March 2018. Blackmail. The word burned in my brain. What did he do? And what did Grandma Ruth do to him? My head swam with flashes of our relationship. All the weird little cracks I'd ignored. Kyle being secretive about money. The time he lied about where he was on a Sunday night. The panic in his eyes when I jokingly asked if Grandma liked him. And that damn breakup. 2 months before our wedding he called me out of nowhere. Said he wasn't ready. That he needed space to figure himself out. Lies. All lies. I clutched the notebook tighter. My fingers were shaking so badly I could barely hold it. My chest felt like it was caving in. Did Grandma catch him doing something? Did she threaten him? I turned the pages frantically looking for clues. There was no detail next to his name, just that single word. Blackmail. But why? I remembered something then. Something small. Flash. 3 years ago my dad told me that money had gone missing from the family business. $20,000. No suspects. No police report. We'll handle it quietly, he said. Grandma agreed. She'd insisted. I thought it was strange back then, but I let it go. What if Kyle took that money? What if Grandma Ruth found out and made him pay? I felt like I was going to throw up. Suddenly, this wasn't just about old family secrets. This was about me. My life. My heart. My engagement. My future. Shattered because of something Grandma had secretly handled behind the scenes. And why? To protect me? Or to protect the family name? I wanted answers. I needed answers. But there was no one to ask. Grandma Ruth was gone. I sat there for what felt like forever, holding the notebook in my lap, staring into nothing. The air in the room felt thick and stale. My throat was tight. The more I thought about it, the more pieces clicked together. Kyle had acted strange around my family that last Christmas. Barely spoke to Grandma. Nervous smiles. Quick glances. Like he was waiting for something to happen. And then, the sudden breakup. And the quiet way Grandma comforted me afterward. Like she knew it was coming. My fingers gripped the notebook tighter, knuckles turning white. I thought of all the tears I cried over Kyle. The nights I blamed myself. The doubts. And the whole time, Grandma Ruth knew. She was pulling the strings. And Kyle was hiding something much worse than cold feet. I swallowed hard. My heart pounded against my ribs. I needed to talk to him. Face to face. No more guessing. No more hiding. I picked up my phone and texted him. Simple. Direct. I found something of Grandma's. It has your name in it. We need to talk. Today. The bubble showed read immediately. No reply. I stared at the screen. A minute passed. Then my phone buzzed. Coffee House on Main. 3 p.m. That was all he wrote. I closed the notebook gently and placed it back in the box. My hands were still trembling, but I felt something else bubbling up inside me now. Bigger. Not just at Kyle. But at the whole damn lie. The fake smiles. The silent betrayals. Grandma may have tried to protect me. Or control me. I didn't know which yet. But by finding this box, I'd cracked open a secret that was never meant to see daylight. No. There was no turning back. I barely tasted my coffee that afternoon. I sat there in the far corner of the coffee house on Main, Same place Kyle and I used to meet for lazy Saturday lattes. Funny how places can change when the people do. The little black notebook was in my bag, tucked carefully under the table. I kept glancing at the door every 30 seconds, heart racing, legs bouncing nervously. He was late. Of course he was. Part of me wondered if he'd show up at all. Maybe he'd already booked a flight and skipped town. Maybe he knew what I found and didn't want to face it. But then, the door swung open. Kyle Barnes. Looking thinner than I remembered. Paler. His expensive coat hung awkwardly off his shoulders like he'd lost weight, or sleep, or both. When his eyes found mine, I swear he flinched. "Hey," he muttered, sliding into the chair across from me without meeting my gaze. I didn't bother with pleasantries. I pulled the notebook from my bag and set it on the table between us. His face went sheet white. "You weren't supposed to see that," he whispered. I leaned forward. My voice low. Explain. Now." Kyle swallowed hard. His hand twitched like he was thinking about grabbing the book and running. But he didn't. Maybe because he knew I wouldn't let him. He rubbed his face with both hands, dragging them down slowly like trying to peel off a mask. His eyes, tired, hollow, finally met mine. "Your grandmother. She found out about the money." I said nothing. Let him squirm. "I took it, from your dad's business. I was desperate. Owed some bad people, gambling stuff. I thought I could replace it before anyone noticed. Just for a few weeks. But Ruth, she knew. She called me." His voice cracked. He glanced around nervously, lowering his voice. "She said if I didn't pay it back and leave you, she'd go to the police. She knew everything. She said the only way to make it disappear was to disappear me." My stomach twisted. So it was true. All of it. He kept going like he couldn't stop now. "She gave me a choice. Pay $15,000. And walk away from you forever. Or go to jail." My hands curled into fists under the table. "So you ran," I said softly. "You let me think I wasn't good enough. Like I did something wrong. Like we weren't real." He winced. His jaw tightened. "I didn't have a choice." "Bullshit," I snapped, cutting him off. "You chose to steal. You chose to lie. And you let my grandmother clean up your mess. Like you always did." People at nearby tables were glancing over now. I didn't care. Kyle sank deeper into his chair, guilt written all over his face. For once, no slick excuses. No charm. Just shame. I paid her off. Every cent. That's what she wanted. And I left like she said. I stared at him. Pulled hard. She wanted to protect me. From you. His eyes flicked down to the notebook. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Where's the money now? The rest of it? Is it in the box? Did she leave it for you?" I leaned forward. "Why do you care, Kyle? Planning to steal again?" His face darkened. A flicker of anger or maybe fear. "You don't get it. I'm in trouble again. I need." I cut him off with a laugh. Bitter. But you're always in trouble. But not my problem anymore." His eyes shifted nervously. Then he reached into his jacket. My breath caught until I saw what he pulled out. A folded paper. He slid it across the table. I unfolded it. A bank receipt. Today's date. $25,000 cash withdrawal. What the hell? Running again? I asked, staring at him. He said nothing. Just chewed his lip. But something clicked in my brain. He was planning to run. Probably thinking I'd blackmail him now the way Grandma did. Maybe vanish forever. Not today. I slid the receipt back to him, slow and deliberate. "Uncle Jason's in town, you know," I said softly. His head snapped up. "What?" I smiled, cold as ice. "He owes Grandma. You're not the only one who made mistakes. He's expecting your call. You're going to give that money back to Dad's company. Every cent. And then you're going to leave town. For good. Or I make sure the cops get that notebook. And the security footage from the bank." Kyle's face drained. He knew I wasn't bluffing. For the first time since I'd met him, he looked small. Weak. Defeated. He ran a shaky hand through his hair. Swallowed. "Fine," he whispered. "I'll do it. Just keep the police out of this." I grabbed my bag, notebook tucked safe inside. "You don't get to make demands anymore, Kyle. We're done." I stood to leave. But before I walked out, I looked back one last time. "Grandma said it was for the best," I murmured. He was right. I stepped out of the coffee shop, the afternoon sun hitting my face, warming the cold weight in my chest. It was over. Or at least I thought it was. But life, just like Grandma Ruth, had one more surprise waiting for me. That night when I got back to Grandma's house, I decided to finish what I started. Clean the rest of the storage room. Close this dark little chapter for good. I tucked the notebook back in the wooden box and slid it under the bed in her old room. Maybe I'd keep it forever. Maybe I'd burn it. I hadn't decided yet. But when I reached for another box to clear out, labeled Ruth's personal keep, something caught my eye. A sealed envelope. Thick. Heavy. With my name on it. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a letter. In Grandma's sharp, steady handwriting. Hi Sophie. If you're reading this, then you've found the box I told no one about. I knew you would. You were always the curious one. I swallowed hard. The words blurred as tears stung my eyes. You're probably angry. Confused. Maybe hurt. I did what I had to do to protect this family. Your father. Your uncle. But I also saved this for you. There's $30,000 in the bottom of the wooden box. It's yours. No one else knows. Take it. Start fresh. Buy your freedom. A new life. You deserve better than small-town lies and men like Kyle Barnes. P.S. He was planning to steal from you again. I heard him on the phone. Some men never change. Be smarter. Be ruthless if you must. I dropped the letter and yanked the wooden box out from under the bed, heart pounding. I pulled out the stacks of old cash I'd seen earlier, kept digging, until my fingers hit something solid. Another layer beneath the false bottom. Another $30,000. I gasped. Grandma, you sneaky brilliant woman. It all made sense now. She'd cleaned up the family's messes for decades. Not for power, not for money, but for me. For this moment. To give me one final way out. One chance to break free. I sat back on the floor holding the thick envelope of cash, laughing softly through tears. The sound echoed in the quiet house. She was gone, but her hand was still guiding me. And Kyle? He had no idea. He thought he'd dodged his punishment. Escaped again. But tomorrow, I'd make the call. To Uncle Jason. To Dad. To the police if I needed to. Kyle's little deal wasn't done until I said it was. Maybe I'd let him sweat a few days. Or forever. For the first time in years I felt light. Free. I picked up Grandma's letter again and smiled. Be ruthless if you must. Maybe I was more like her than I thought. That dusty old storage room wasn't just filled with junk and memories. It held the truth. A legacy. And my ticket to start over. Decluttering had changed my life, alright. I thought I was cleaning out the past. But the past cleaned me. And this time I was keeping the power.